This is Indie Business Podcast, episode 86. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Indie Business Podcast. I'm your host, mentor, and coach, Donna Maria, the founder and CEO of the Indie Business Network. My goal is to help you build a solid business foundation, increase your income, and use your business to create the life you love. In this episode, I interview Christie Krasteva of CEVARI Naturals in Charlotte, North Carolina. A self-described nature girl, Christie grew up surrounded by all types of entrepreneurs, including farmers, auto body shop owners, construction engineers, charter boat owners, horticulturists, and more. Having been exposed to entrepreneurship at such a young age, Christie was inspired to turn her love for plants and the great outdoors into a business of her own. She kicked things off in 2017 and has poured every penny earned back into her business. Christie is a very detail-oriented planner who is not afraid to follow her gut. Her story of intentional brand creation and patiently putting the pieces together will inspire you to take your time and trust your intuition as you lead your business forward. Plus, you'll love how Christie talks about working with her husband in her business. This podcast is brought to you by the Indie Business Retreat. Join me in January for a transformational time of learning and growth at the beautiful Club Med, Miches, Playa Esmeralda in the Dominican Republic. Enjoy snorkeling, a sunset cruise, and the opportunity to strategize in paradise as you formalize your plan for an amazing year of business. Reserve your spot before they're all gone at indiebusinessretreat.com. You can get a summary for this episode at indiebusinessnetwork.com/86. And now let's enjoy an insightful conversation with Christie Krasteva of CEVARI Naturals in Charlotte, North Carolina. Christie Krasteva of CEVARI Naturals in Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to Indie Business Podcast.
Thank you for having me today, Donna Maria. I'm really excited to be here.
So, Christie, one of the things I try to do before I interview a guest is do some research. So I was digging deep into Instagram, and I think I found a brand of yours that pre-existed CEVARI Naturals. Am I right?
Correct. It wasn't an actual business, but it was more of me having fun doing a blog that I had for about a year. It was called CK Natural Skincare. And I talked about herbalism, natural skincare, and aromatherapy on that blog.
So tell me a little bit about how that experience eased itself or morphed into, or what have you, into CEVARI Naturals where you are now. Is there a connection?
Yes. And we can, back up maybe just a little bit about what inspired me as well to even get that started. Because that did lead into starting CEVARI Naturals, but there's more of a backstory to the whole journey in itself of becoming a formulator. So I'm a nature girl through and through. I've always loved being outside, and you can just throw me outside and I'm happy. But I also grew up around entrepreneurs, and that was a part of my upbringing, and just seeing people, my stepfather, my own father, and my grandfather all had their own businesses, and really seeing that people had a passion for what they do each day and all the hard work that they put into their businesses. It really inspired me to want to have that freedom of having my own business, but also being very aware of the hard work and the time it takes to build a business. So my dad was a farmer. He also had his own auto body shop and was a woodworker. My stepfather has his own construction business and charter boating business. And my grandfather has a horticulture business and a plant nursery. So I spent a lot of time around plants and outdoors. So nature has always been a big part of my life. And I've always loved gardening and working with herbs. So all of that really, was a big part of my passion. And after my son was born, he was about 6 months old, and I was really questioning, what do I want to do with my life career wise? I knew I wanted to start a business. I knew I loved herbs. I knew I loved nature and gardening, but I really wanted to figure out, how can I turn that passion into a tangible career that helps other people, that can turn into a business of something that's going to help people. So I started doing a ton of research on how I can turn those passions into a business. And I stumbled upon Formula Botanica. They're an accredited online formulation school based in the UK. And it just clicked. I was like, wow, they teach natural skincare. I've always loved, kind of creating my own little, experiments when I was a teenager and through my 20s, of just, taking herbs and making little hair rinses or, little face masks, and just using of the earth to create a wonderful self-care experience. So I began my studies with them. I started on March 30th, 2017, and I just fell immediately in love with formulation. And this is a fun fact as well. After I started studying with them, I attended an online herbal conference. This is how I found you, Donna Maria. You were a guest speaker on that herbal conference. And immediately when you started speaking, I loved your personality, still love your personality. And I just immediately, I was like, I love this woman, and everything you explained, it just made sense. So then I signed up for the Indie Business Network. And that's when I began writing a newsletter. And I started a newsletter in January 2018. And I've sent a newsletter every month since then. And that's how the blog, the skincare, herbalism, aromatherapy blog started. And I started the blog writing about, herbalism, aromatherapy, and the skincare. And I had that for about a year. But all throughout that time, my intention was to open a business. So that was kind of an experience for me to get, a grasp of what was to come in the future when I actually launched a legal business. So,
Christie, that is such a fascinating story. And I have to ask you, what was that herbal conference? Because I can't remember it.
I cannot remember the specific
either. I know I speak at so many of them. I'm so glad that you found us there. So your story is so interesting. So you said the whole time you had the intention of starting a business, but what's fascinating to me about what you just shared is the depth of research and attention to detail, and really the taking of your time that you invested in before you actually started a business. And I'd like to hear a little bit more about that. Like, did you feel like you needed to do that? Did you want to do that? Did you really kind of want to take your time? Like, did you have a full-time job? Were you having babies? Like, what was going on that that really just gave you the insight that the time that you were taking would be time well spent before you started your business in a formalized sense?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I'm a person who loves paying attention to detail anyway. And I knew if I wanted to start a business, I needed to do it right. And of course, I was aware that I wasn't going to know everything at the start, and I still don't know everything. But I really wanted to prepare myself for what I was going to get into, because growing up around people with their own businesses, I did see, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time and commitment. And I knew that getting into that, I needed to be serious about it, but still have fun with it, prepare myself. So when I had started in 2017 with Formula Botanica, immediately I was planning for the business, and I would make, little lotions and, face scrubs and masks and lip balms. And I would sell them to friends and family members, just to get a little experience. And then I would take that little bit of money and put it in a savings account and just save up that little bit of money for, business expenses such as filing fees and all that. So, just, yeah, a lot of planning ahead.
Mhm. Did you
Um,
get impatient? Like, did you ever feel like, oh gosh, I've got $300 now. I'm ready to get started. Like, how did you discipline yourself to not just because like a lot of times what we see is we see people who want to do planning, but they plan for 100 years. Or on
mhm.
the flip side, we see the level of energy and excitement that starts immediately and doesn't plan at all. And you seem to have found sort of a happy medium there.
Yeah, I think it was about just following my gut
Hmm.
and trying not to rush or jump ahead if I didn't feel prepared. And
Hmm.
also, kicking myself to move a little bit if I did feel that I was kind of prolonging things, because I do
Hmm.
tend to be a perfectionist sometimes. And
Hmm.
I want things to be a certain way, and feel a certain way, because the customer's experience is so important to me, and I want the customer to feel so special, and all those little details are really important. So I wanted to get those elements right, and I'm still trying to expand and
Hmm.
upgrade those things as well. But also, my husband really helps, kind of push me along when I am stalling a little bit, because I
Hmm.
can get lost in the details. So I just really tried to follow my gut instinct of, is it time yet or is it not? And just a fun little fact, because I'm a very spiritual person and I believe in signs and like
Hmm.
synchronicities and stuff. So, the reason I brought up the date to March 30th, 2017, of when I started with Formula Botanica, that's when the courses started. Exactly 3 years to the day later, um, our business, Savari Naturals, was signed into existence on March 30th, 2020. So that's when the Secretary of State had signed our paper to make our business legally, existing. So I thought it was a really interesting thing that 3 years to the day it came into existence, our business. So yeah, just following
Don't
my
you
gut.
love when that happens? It's such a serendipitous moment, and
Yeah.
it means a lot, and it's not necessarily tangible, but it helps to propel us forward when we see the signs of the universe and the world sort of clicking together in a way that makes us go, wow, 3 years to the day, like that can't be an accident. And that's so exciting. So you mentioned your husband, and I know that you and he work together in the business. Tell us a little bit about that dynamic. Like, how do you guys divide up tasks, and what is it like to work with your spouse in a business like that?
Yeah, well, it's wonderful. He does have a full-time job. So when he is off, he helps me with photography, a lot of stuff on the website. He's better with numbers and that way, like coding and stuff like that. He also helps me with the taxes, and we love to bounce ideas off of each other. So when it comes to um, product development, we're always kind of trying to, figure out the feel of a product, the ingredients. And really, that's mainly my part. But if I'm feeling stuck a little bit, I'll go to him and we'll bounce ideas off of each other. And he's always been, my biggest supporter and my other half, my rock. And he helps me so much into pushing me towards my dreams. And it's been awesome. And I'm always appreciative to have him in my life to be able to, do this with him,
Mhm.
because that's part of our journey together as well.
Yes, yes. And you have a child together too, and you're now all together in the same place a lot, especially during the pandemic time. What has that experience been like for you?
Yeah. Well, we love getting outside together and going hiking and nature trails. And our son Nicholas, he helps us from time to time when we're packing orders. And I like that our 4-year-old he gets to see and be a part of this experience too. It's a whole family, and I'm thankful that he can be a part of that and kind of learn from us and learn
Yeah.
about this too. Even
And
though
it's such a wonderful thing when you can expose a child in a tangible way, like up close and personal with their hands in the mixture, so to speak. Right there in your home where, it's not like, they don't have to go anywhere to see it. They can see the day-to-day operations. They can see you guys working together as a family. They can see you working together as a couple and as entrepreneurs. It's I think the world is going in the direction where they're going to have to do that. There's not going to be a roadmap that they can take. They're going to have to kind of piece a lot of pieces together. And seeing the two of you doing that, I'm sure it's just getting into him and preparing him for the future. That's such an exciting thing. So CEVARI Naturals, Christy, what does CEVARI mean?
so the word itself, I came up with it in 2017. It is a combination of letters from my first, middle, and last name. So I just kind of pieced together a word. And to me, what it represents is what is found in our slogan, which is intuition, beauty, purpose. And the reason I chose that as our slogan is I believe all of us have intuition, and through self care rituals, we can tap into that intuitive part of ourselves when we slow down and take a moment to actually care for ourselves. Beauty is not just an exterior expression in life, although that's wonderful. Beauty has such a deeper meaning as well. And it goes into the very deep layers of a human being. And to inspire people to take a moment to really harness that beauty and appreciation for themselves. And then purpose does not have to be a huge thing. Purpose, at least in what I believe and want to inspire, is that purpose is a part of everyday moments, like seeing your child laugh or, taking a nice bath, just in the simple, wonderful little things that give life meaning.
Mhm.
So through our business, I don't want it to just be a product. Of course, I don't want it, to just be, here's skincare. I want to inspire something deeper, which means appreciate yourself, appreciate this beautiful life that you have and your expression and your unique, you know, part of it. And also connect with nature because as human beings from the beginning of time, we've had a deep, intricate connection with nature. And just in the past century alone, we've kind of fallen away from that. But now we're starting to see people get back into that, like,
Yeah,
up
yeah,
their own homestead or, the, sewing their own clothes, making handcrafting products. So you
yeah.
see people kind of getting back to that connection of the lost craft of creating something with your hands. And there's something so beautiful and magical about that.
There
And
is.
yeah, yeah.
There is, and I just love it. I mean, I just love it, and that's like such a big part of the work we do here at the Indie Business Network too, as you know. And so I'm so excited to share a little bit about the products that you offer because first of all, I've tried one of them and I love it. And I have an empty nail, like I love those YouTube videos where they do stories about their empties.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
so I've got yours is in my empties pile now, so I'm going to do a video sometime soon. You're, you have two products in your line. One is a face oil, one is a body oil. Did you start with two products or did you start with one of those?
I started with two. Luna is our face oil and Noctis is our body oil.
And that's
And
the one I've tried and love. Yes.
yeah, it has a nice deep blue color, which comes from blue tansy essential
Hmm.
oil. And both are made with long chain fatty acids. So that means in the oil itself, it's not going to be really heavy, sitting on top of the skin. It's going to absorb into the different layers of the epidermis, and the epidermis is the top layer of the skin.
Mhm.
So really going to help improve the skin barrier integrity and nourish the lipid components of the skin. So there are first, little children of CEVARI, I guess.
Yes, yes.
And
And so tell us a little bit about why you chose skin, face oil and body oil. Like, what we see a lot of, as you probably know, is it's difficult for a lot of people who love to make things, Christy, and you probably know this because you love to make things. It's difficult to narrow things down. And we just want to make everything. We're going to have the body oil and the skincare and the bath bombs and the everything. But you were so much more intentional than is typical. So I just want to excavate that a little bit. Was that a part of your business training? Was it a part of what you learned through the courses you took, or was it just an instinct that you have?
well, a lot of advice that I saw um, through indie business, through Formula Botanica, I was picking up on little elements of start with a few products because, for one, you don't want to spend a ton of money on a bunch of different ingredients because it's very expensive. Natural ingredients are very expensive. And if you had like 10 products that you're launching with, that's a lot of inventory that you need. So, from a business perspective, and financial perspective, it didn't make a lot of sense for me to launch with a ton of products. And plus, as a new business, you're kind of jumping in and you don't really know what to expect. So you're kind of testing the waters. Like, how are people going to respond to a couple products that I have compared to investing in a ton of inventory and having a ton of products? And then, maybe one product doesn't even sell, or, that kind of thing. So I wanted to really test the water and kind of get my footing, get people to know our brand and what we stand for before having, more products. And I am working on products as well.
But it's funny because you think, traditional thought, I guess, from the outside looking in, when you're a new entrepreneur, it's like the more I have, the more attention I'll get. But really, the flip side is true. Like the less you have and the more focused you are, the more attention you'll get.
Yeah, I suppose. And also, I don't want to overcrowd our business with unnecessary products either. I want these products to truly be a part of someone's everyday routine. It's going to nurture your skin and improve the health of your skin. And to create over time a whole line of products that people can use on a daily basis to, keep their skin healthy and keep them happy and beautiful aromas and just feel good about themselves. So, I do love the fable about the tortoise and the hare, and
Yeah.
just kind of taking your time and
Yeah.
believe that everything will fall in place. Of course, a lot of hard work and putting a lot of effort into what you're doing, but also trusting that the process, everything will unfold as it should.
Well, it's just lovely to see the intention. Like it totally comes through. And I loved when I received my order of the Noctis body oil. It came packaged so beautifully. Like I had to grab my camera. I Instagrammed it immediately before I opened it because I just thought it was such a lovely presentation. It was very personal and so forth. So Christy, tell us a little bit about your business model. I mean, obviously you sell your products online because I purchased at your website, but you also are focused on wholesale, and you have you're putting some effort into somehow getting your products featured in magazines and so forth. So can you tell us a little bit about how everything is structured to get the results that you want?
Yeah. So, yeah, we are completely online right now. We have done one event, and then, the worldwide bug kind of interrupted that. But I would like to get into doing pop-up shops maybe in the future, and trying to get out into the local community more. But that will be more in the future. I am trying to get into some wholesale partnerships, and that's something that I'm trying to learn more about before I jump in. But that's definitely on our radar to do. And also with getting into, we've been featured in Vogue 3 consecutive times. And advice on this is interesting because I can't really tell you how to contact them or anything, because they were the ones who contacted us. And at that time, we were 3 months into business. I had no idea found us either. And that was a very humbling and exciting experience as well. So they contacted us, and they did tell us that they loved the aesthetic of our brand and what we stood for and the feel of everything. So I think the presentation really helped in that aspect, to also connect with their target audience. Also, we've been interviewed for another magazine online. So we're slowly building our portfolio as far as press goes. And then my husband actually helps a lot with finding, the beauty awards that we entered. We won editor voice for both products. So both of our products are award winning. And
congratulations. That's wonderful. That came in handy, that business partnership with him. I love that that he did that. That's so exciting. Congratulations on so much of your success. So like, how do you market your products, Christie?
So that's something I continuously am trying to learn. Marketing is totally new to me. Right now we are using social media and our newsletter, and just trying to get our friends and family word of mouth out there. And I would say that's one of the big things right now that I'm still trying to grasp and get better at. Marketing is a tricky thing, I think.
It's always a work in progress. So good luck grasping it. But so I know you use Instagram. You said a newsletter, social media. In terms of social media, you use Instagram, obviously, because that's what is such a beautiful Instagram page there at CEVARI Naturals. Do you use any other things? Like I see an occasional YouTube video. Are there any other things that you use intentionally to build awareness and expand your sphere of influence?
Yeah, Facebook, we post on there regularly as well. We have Pinterest. I don't post on there as regularly. I need to get a better handle on that. And then we have YouTube videos. I'm trying to propel myself more into making videos, because I think that's a great way to connect with your audience, and for the audience and the customer to get that understanding of you as the maker and who they could potentially buy from, and to have a deeper relationship, how you sound and what you look like and your experience. The video is really powerful, I think.
It matters today. Those things matter today. I think, as you sort of connecting it back to what you said earlier about people getting into making things with their hands and so forth. I think it's also true that consumers are into buying things that were made with that sort of intention, right? And they love to see the person who did it and connect with them and sort of get into their heads, because it makes the experience with the product that much more rich. Do you think that's the case with your brand?
Oh yes, absolutely. And that's the whole thing. I think about the customer so much, and I try to actually get into the customer's head, like how is someone going to feel when they receive this package? How is this, daily routine going to impact them? And that's so important to me, because I want to impact someone's life in a positive way, and really remind them that self-care is good for your mental health, self-care
Yeah.
for your daily, just appreciation for your body. And also tying nature in, using ingredients that are derived from our earth, it helps you tap into that relation to nature that I think a lot of human beings are craving nowadays in a modern day world and being behind a screen often.
Yes. Yes. It's
Yeah.
so funny that you mentioned that, because as you're talking about our connection with nature and all the great things it does for us, my next question was going to be about technology. And it's so interesting that you kind of flowed in that direction as well, because even though we have these products or even services sometimes that are really connected, to people through the heart, we still have to use technology in order to make those connections. So I want to ask you, what pieces of technology or what technology types do you use in your business that are the most useful to you?
Definitely my computer and my phone. So, computer is used for my newsletters, going on Canva and designing a lot of things for my social media, YouTube videos, all of that jazz. And then my phone for posting to social media outlets and responding to emails. So,
Hmm.
phone and my computer, I need those two things definitely.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite app that you use, like, to help you post to Instagram? Like, do you schedule things or just kind of do it as it comes up? Do you have a system for that?
So there, I can't think of the name of the um, the planning app that I have for. It's like a grid planner for
Mhm.
your Instagram, so you can kind of move pictures around to see how your whole Instagram feed will look. And I like doing that because I want things to kind of flow together and
Mhm.
not look messy. So I'll try to plan, and then some days my posts are kind of spontaneous. If I take a picture that day, I'll just throw it up there, and if it flows well with my feed. Um, and then let's see, I love Canva because that helps design
Mhm.
as far as graphics go. I think that's a great tool.
Yeah, it is a really nice one. What do you use for your newsletter?
A newsletter, I am using Clavio,
Do you
and
like that?
I do. I used to use MailChimp, but I can't
Mhm.
remember why I switched to Clavio. But Clavio, I actually like better. It took me a while
Okay.
kind of get used to it, and but there's a lot of kind of design elements on there that you can
Mhm.
play with, and it's fun. And I'm always kind of trying to, you know, make my newsletter look better as well.
Yeah, it's such a learning curve to switch from one to another, but sometimes it's just necessary. If you use Shopify for your website platform, you may have switched from Mailchimp because Shopify stopped at one point stopped connecting to Mailchimp, so that
Yeah,
that may have had something to do with it.
thanks for the reminder. Yeah, that is why.
How soon we forget, right? All the traumatic situations, and we always, find a way around them. So, in your business, like, tell us a little bit about, like, what do you have in mind for the future? Where is Savari Naturals going?
Oh yeah. Well, I have a lot of dreams and goals, and each day it's just taking one step in front of the other to have that manifest. But I love herbs. I'm also an herbalist, and so incorporating herbs into future products is something I really want to do, and I'm working on that now. There's a few formulations I've been working on for over a year, so it's just that I want to make sure I get it right. So I take my time with it. So incorporating herbs, of course, and if possible, maybe partnering with some local farms where I could
Mhm.
switch herbs. Um, we live in an apartment right now, but one of my dreams is to, have a yard or at least a little bit of land, and maybe I could grow them myself and
Mhm.
incorporate them into the product. But that's a far off goal. But it's a goal, and it's something I would definitely consider doing. But definitely also supporting local businesses. One of our suppliers is Formulator Sample Shop here in North Carolina, and I
Oh,
love
yes, yes.
them. So try
Fantastic company.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep things as close to, me, like our business where we're located. So that would have to be other North Carolina businesses, but it's not always possible when you're trying to find suppliers. But definitely something I have high on my radar and a priority going forward. And just, enjoying each day and
Hmm.
enjoy
Hmm.
and doing what I love and helping other people enjoy their
Well,
product.
yes, and of course you're right here. Like I rarely get to interview guests that are in the same town as me. You're right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I am, and we're
Yeah.
not that far from the South Carolina border. So um, supporting local also includes, I think, South Carolina. Down here in the Carolinas,
Mhm.
because it's often referred to as like one thing.
Yeah.
Um, so we have two state options that we can support and still be local. So that's kind of cool. So Christy, as we close out, I would love to know, like, you've given such great insights into the intention and the focus that we can all emulate in our businesses, no matter what kind of business you have. And I'm so thankful for that, because it's not even like a question that I asked. It's just your story is so intentional, and those parts of it are really, along with the rest of it as well, are super, super inspiring. But as we end, I'd love to know, like, like one, like, really amazing additional word of advice can you offer to anyone who is listening and they're like, oh, I really want to start a business and I want to be intentional like Christy? Like, what word of advice would you offer to the person who's listening and they may feel like, I'm doubting myself. Is it a pandemic? Is this a really good time to start? What would you say to them, and what should they do first to really get things moving forward?
Okay. Yeah, that's a big one. Well, I would say follow your heart always. And when you do step into business, be aware that it will take a lot of hard work, a lot of time. It's it's going to be on your mind a lot, and physically and mentally. Business, it takes up a lot of your life, and to stay true to yourself. Now, that being said, take time for yourself. Um, we're in the self care industry basically, and sometimes it can be easy to forget to take care of yourself when you're constantly thinking about your business and constantly pushing forward and learning new things. And it's okay to slow down. It's okay to take a break, and it's okay to take
Mhm.
maybe off and just not think about things for a little bit to recharge. And another thing is, I love quotes, and I started my formulation journey with this quote by Henry David Thoreau, and I keep it right next to my desk, and I'll read it for you. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. So that is to say, stay true to
Mhm.
yourself, going after your dream. And on an ordinary day, you're going to look at life and you're going to be like, wow, I've achieved that. And I checked that dream off my list, or that goal I had, and just keep pushing forward. Take time for self-care, believe in yourself, stay true to yourself, and everything will fall into place doing what you love.
Oh, wow. I love that quote. I'm definitely have to play this back immediately so I can hear that again. Thank you so much for sharing that. And, you know, um, just the peacefulness that sort of comes through with what you're describing. And I know a lot of times in business, things don't always look up, under the surface like they do on the surface. But I just see so much harmony, I think, between what I see on the outside and what you described is going on the inside. And I think that's inspiring, because a lot of times with entrepreneurship, as you say, it's a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah. Take time to just tap into why you're really doing what you're doing, and that passion and love for what you're doing, because that's what gives so much meaning to your art and your creation. And
Mhm.
you're producing for someone else. And to make someone else feel special, you have to make you feel special too.
Yes. And in following your heart, which you emphasized just now, there's a certain element of a requirement that we trust the process as well, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's scary sometimes.
It can be. I
Yeah.
have moments where I get a little bit scared, and there's
Yeah.
moments I'll admit, I cry sometimes for overwhelm, but then I pick myself up and I dust myself off and I say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to keep going with this because this is what I love to do. And
Right.
it's important for me to share that with other people.
Well, your love for it definitely shows. The product that I used, it shows in that. It shows even just looking at your website without buying it. It shows that you love what you do. It shows that you are very focused and very intentional. And there's a level of trust, I think, that comes through as a result of those things when we could just kind of look at your brand without knowing anything about it. Honestly, I picked up on it immediately the first time I went to your website. So I'm sure that I'm not the only one. So CEVARINaturals.com, everyone. Follow Christie on Instagram as well. Sign up for her newsletter. She's published nonstop every month for almost 4 years? I mean, hand clap on that. I need like a hand clap button because that is such an amazing accomplishment. And I know it's helping your business as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, Christie.
Thank you so much for having me on, Donna Maria. This was a lot of fun and I loved it. Thank you.
Well, we'll see you soon, hopefully, since we sort of live in the same town. Hopefully, we'll run across each other in person sometime soon. I would look forward to that. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Well, I hope this episode of the Indie Business Podcast has left you inspired, motivated, and excited about the future of your small business. Let's quickly review 3 of the most significant business insights Christie and I discussed today. First, don't overcrowd your business. Christie shared her philosophy of not overcrowding her business with too many products. Instead of having a bunch of products in her line, she prefers to create with an intentional perspective, having a few products that help people feel good about themselves and that become a part of their daily self-care routine. Christie says she's taken her time and really trusted the process, that everything will unfold as it should without her having to rush and be hassled and hustling all the time. Number 2, the power of video. While Christie uses a variety of different social media outlets, including Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, she really loves the power of video on any platform because it allows you to connect so well with your audience. People can get an understanding of who you are, and through video, they can see you and they can hear your voice. And all of this engagement paves the way for a deeper and more meaningful business relationship. And then number 3, follow your heart always, Christie says. She advises that when you step into business, make sure that you know ahead of time it is a lot of hard work. It takes up a lot of time and it takes up so much of your mind and your body. It's important, Christie says, to remember to take time for yourself and remind yourself that it's okay to slow down and take a break and really just follow your heart and follow your body and allow it to tell you what to do so that you're not always hustling and running and from here to there and just doing quote unquote all the things. But just, take the time to just not even think about your business for a while so you can recharge and you replenish yourself when your heart and your body tell you that you need to do that. And Christie also left us with one of her favorite quotes. This one from Henry David Thoreau. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Such a great thing to think about as we close out this episode. If you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, won't you do me the honor of rating this podcast? It helps me so much to know that you appreciate the amazing people and stories featured here on the Indie Business Podcast. You can also share episodes from indiebusinessnetwork.com to your favorite social media outlets. I will see you on the next episode of the Indie Business Podcast. In the meantime, enjoy your life, build your business, and live your legacy.